Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special live episode of Jim and Rob Overanalyze Movies, a See It or Skip It edition, not recorded to tape, not in a Tim Hortons, not at the Denny's. Let's get into it. Today, folks, that's right, we're going to be looking at Predator Badlands. We'll keep it spoiler free, just a short little hit. But first, let's bring on my co-host with the most, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jim Chboyko. How are you doing, my friend?
I got my Flexa ruler all ready to hack and slash. These movies make me violent.
Very good, sir. So we actually saw each other the other night. Oh my goodness, Remembrance Day. It was a few days ago. We did see each other the other night. We went and saw this movie, this Badlands, this Predator Badlands. Here's the log line from the fine folks at 20th Century Fox. Set in the future on a remote planet where a young predator, outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally in Thea, played by Elle Fanning, and embarks on a treacherous journey in search of Jim, the ultimate adversary. This film is directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed the Predator Prey, which we reviewed on this channel, gave it a positive review. I don't think we were raving about it, but we did enjoy it. That a good capture of our impression of Prey?
Yeah, I recall me liking it a little more than you did, but it moved well. It was exciting, and it didn't feel. I think the word that you used the other day to not describe this movie was ponderous, and there was no sort of ponderousness about it. It was just a nice, tight,
pretty straightforward adventure,
action adventure.
Yeah. Okay. Now this flick, which we did see at the theater in the comfy chair. We went to the VIP theater. Nice chair, place to put your drink, all that stuff. Great sound, great visuals. Why don't you give us, actually, before we do that, why don't anyone watching this, please give us a like, a subscribe, and maybe a ringy ding of that bell.
It's my weapon.
There you go.
That's my weapon of choice, a little ring for a kiss.
Well, that and that flex ruler, right?
Yes.
All right, Jim, let's start here.
Sure.
Let's get it right out of the way.
You bet.
Predator Badlands. Is it a see it or a skip it for you?
Absolutely see it. I'm bullying my own son, much like what happened in Predator, to go see it, or he's dead. No, I very much sort of advocated for him to go see it. I think he quite enjoyed in the theater where you got the sound, you got the visuals. Absolutely see it.
I couldn't agree with you more. I'm as enthusiastic about this film as I was 2 nights ago. Like, even it's like, oh, I want to see that again. It's enthusiastic, and that was out of the theater. We've had a good night at the movies, all that stuff, and I'm still kind of jazzed about this flick. You and I, when we talked about it the other night, we had some technical difficulties, folks. It did not work out so that I could actually give you the video from that night, but I was thinking I would really like to do a deep dive on it once it's out on streaming so that everyone's had a chance to see it. And I still want to do that. But before we get into that, Jim, why do you give it such a resounding endorsement?
I'd put it simply that it was the most enjoyable couple hours that I've spent at the movie theater all year. Like in terms of just not what it was and not its greatness or anything like that. Just in terms of enjoyability, it sort of just it was one of the funnest, if that's grammatically correct,
Yeah.
funnest trip to the movie theater. Like I just there's points where I turned to you and I said, "Oh, this is gonna be good," or I just sort of like was bouncing in my own seat.
Yeah.
Because just the turns and stuff, predictable or not, they're still cool and just a really enjoyable trip to the movie theater.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
simply put.
I agree with you. I think it's may have been the best movie of the year I've seen since Sinners.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
uh, tight, light on its feet.
Mhm.
Never, you mentioned ponderous. It never takes itself too seriously. And folks, for those of you who don't know, and it's not a big spoiler, the hero, Deck, played
Jack.
by Demetrius Schuster-Koloamatangi, and I'm probably screwing up the pronunciation. The Schuster part, I suspect they
Yeah.
hit, but Koloamatangi. Koloamatangi. Oh, I think I'm getting it there.
Yeah, yeah,
Who does fantastic work given the makeup and special, and I'm sure visual effects.
yeah.
He is from that Predator universe, but then you've got Thea played by Fanning, who's a synth from the Weyland-Yutani Aliens, and it just you get a lot of reflections there. They're a weird kind of Janus twins looking forward and back.
Mhm.
It is a quest. It's a hero's narrative, folks. But
Mhm.
at no time does it, like some of the alien movies of late are just taking itself too seriously. Or we mentioned the other night, there are callbacks within the story, but also callbacks to their respective genres or their
Mhm.
respective franchises, let's say, their respective series. But it never feels like, oh, we're going to do this thing now. Remember that from that movie? It never
Yeah.
feels like that. Would you agree with me there?
Yeah, there's a very unsettled sort of needle drop, not a literal needle drop, but sort of a callback in Alien Romulus that a lot of people were sort of bitching about. And there's something, yeah, there is a callback, a very obvious callback here in the third act. But I didn't find it derivative. I thought it was sort of like actually a logical sort of conclusion to that scene. Yeah, without giving anything away.
Yeah.
I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah, no, yeah, just as you said, light on its feet, and but not calorie free. Like there was some heft here, and I said to
yeah,
you later, and by heft I don't mean like Scorsese like heft or anything like that, but for what it was for an action adventure movie, it packed a pretty big hit,
yeah,
and it was sneaky smart. And I was saying that was I getting verklempt at a Predator movie? A little bit, and but I don't, but I don't think it's a woke application towards the Predator. I don't think it's a softening of the Predator, but it's really the whole thing, and we'll get into this in the deep dive. But that sort of alternative kind of view of what a Predator could be, but in a real smart way, I think.
yeah. He's the Deck's a predator. Deck is monster's the wrong word to use in the context of this film, but you can see how he's a monster to his victims, to his prey. But I think even within the original movie, there was always this kind of warrior thing going on. And so, and very much an idea of, oh, I can't believe I'm going to say this, ethical hunting.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
And deep dive stuff. But that's always been kind of underlining the Predator kind of thing. Whereas in Aliens, it's really been about, well, you might have a species that does a thing, and then you have the human species that screws each other over for a percentage, and you
Yeah.
get a hint of that in here. But there's also, robots, AI, and it's got all that, but it doesn't hit it too hard because its main theme is really about what it what it is to be a warrior. Are you gonna be the lone wolf, or are you going to be how you relate to your family, your clan? There is a sibling relationship and a father-son, even perhaps a mother-daughter relationship.
Sisters, yeah.
Yeah, sisters that are, part of I think, like you say, that part of the reason it hits as hard as it does is it's all in these universals,
Mhm.
you know, that atonement or lack thereof with the Father, the trying to meet expectations, trying to be who you're supposed to be as opposed to, finding another way. Yeah. And what did you believe you said something about a line, Jim?
Oh yeah, it's got the last line of the whole movie, something happens and then something else happens, and it's sort of obviously a denouement.
Yeah.
And enter stage left, and bang, there's a line. And I just thought
Just just a
that
great
is
ending line.
it's such a great storytelling line. It's almost like a borscht belt joke at the same time. It's like it's and it just says it is 1, 2, 3 words. And I just went, "Oh,
Yeah.
like a great a good stomach punch or a good
Yeah.
it was just such a great last line. One of the best, I swear to God, in the last few years that I've heard,
Yeah.
that just makes you sort of like, instead of just like lulling you off to sleep, like the final line of a fairy tale you might read to a kid, it was just like, oh, what's next? It was
Yeah. Uh,
just the best final line.
okay. Jim, let me ask you this before we wrap up here because we were just doing a tight one.
Yeah.
Going to the theater the other night, were you expecting the movie to be half as good?
No, I thought it'd be a fairly simple kind of, you know, action adventure. I wasn't expecting it to be sort of layered. I thought, well, I enjoyed Prey, so maybe this will be along the same lines. I remember after Prey, everyone was thinking, "Ooh, what's next? Samurai or, karate warriors or kung fu champions or name." Name the Maori,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Like, just name your kind of specialized warrior from the past.
Yeah.
But yeah, they sort of didn't do well. They did a little bit of that in the animated movie, but which is very watchable. But yeah, they took it in a really different direction. And yeah. Anyway, to answer your question, I did not expect it to
Yeah.
be as fulfilling as it was. Like
Yeah.
I really came away from that going, that was great. That was fun, and it meant something.
Yeah.
So, for
Yeah.
what it is,
Great,
top
great
top of the
way
line.
to end the show. Again, folks, thanks so much for watching. If you're here with us now, or you see us later, please like, subscribe, and maybe ring a ding that bell because you're gonna want to join us for the deep dive. All right, everyone, this was just a quick one. Thanks for coming out. Jim, you
You're
have
more welcome.
anything to say? You want to say goodbye?
Just observe my